Okay, and that's enough about the bit that I'm talking about, because that's not why you're particularly here. What you're really interested to hear about is research. So I'm really delighted that our head of research, Alaya, is on the call today, and she's going to be talking about our research program in much more detail. Don't forget, if you've got any questions or any comments, please leave them in the chat and the Q&A. But Alaya, I'll stop talking and you can do your part of the presentation.
Thank you, Julia. Let me share my screen. Just a sec. Right. Can you see my presentation now? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Perfect. Well, thank you everybody for joining me today to talk about our research for the charity retail sector. Let's start with a simple question. Why does research matter? As we all know, charity retail is a very unique part of the retail landscape. Our sector is raising income for good causes, delivers social and environmental value, you create jobs and volunteering opportunities, and support the local communities. But to explain that impact clearly and credibly to funders, policymakers, and the public, we need robust and sector-specific data. So that's where the CRA program comes in. It's designed to support, strengthen, and champion charity retail while also giving you, our members, benchmarking data to be able to understand your shop's performance, to compare it with peers, and also to identify sector trends. So today, we will give you an overview of the research that we produce, how it is shaped by your input, how you can access and use it, and also why your participation really matters. But first, I'd like to thank our corporate member, the Charity Retail Consultancy, for sponsoring our research program and joining us today as well. So here is a quick overview of the member-exclusive reports that we produce and the wider research that we support. Our core reports are the quarterly market analysis reports, the QMAs, which track sales of donated goods, new goods, RAG, but also gifted performance, shop numbers, footfall, commercial retail sales. And you can use the QMA to compare your performance with the wider sector, to identify emerging challenges and opportunities, and also to support internal reporting and training, board papers, trust engagement, business planning. So there is loads you can do with the QMA data. And there is a fantastic webinar from the Charity Retail Consultancy on how to make the most of your QMA reports. And I have included the link in the presentation for you to check later as well. We also produce a range of specialist reports that explore particular themes in depth. So, for example, our report on selling prices, which we have just published, it's about selling prices of donated goods. It shows prices and transactions by shop type. And we are currently collecting responses to produce a workforce report, which provides data on employees and volunteers per shop, retention and recruitment trends, salaries by location, and much more. And we produce different type of specialist reports each year, and I will explain a little bit later how we decide on these topics. We also commission major pieces of research for the sector, and the key example is our research on the social value and social return on investment generated by charity shops. It was sponsored by Food Anstey. And as part of this research, we have produced a member-exclusive toolkit that you can use to report the social value generated by your own shops. And the toolkit includes a step-by-step guide and also a webinar on how to use the toolkit. And you have loads of case studies from other members that you can use to produce your own. And this type of research, it's vital because it helps to capture the full value of charity retail beyond financial terms. And you can use it to demonstrate impact to trustees and funders, to support conversations with local authorities and partners, and even to engage and motivate your retail team. And also, this type of research provides the CRA with credible evidence to advocate for the sector. So it's a very important piece of research for us as a sector. And other research we are involved in includes the Charity Retail Sales Tracker, the CRST, which is a weekly benchmarking report for participating charity retailers with 50 or more shops. And it is produced by VDO in association with the CRA, and it covers like-for-like sales of donated goods, new goods, and also gifted conversion rate. And finally, we contribute as well to academic and external research by sharing sector data to support the research led by academics and students, but also organizations like RAP, for example. And our research, it's guided by a set of core principles. So first, it's relevant because it delivers timely, accessible insights that matter most to charity retailers. It's also practical because the findings are designed to be useful both for day-to-day and also for strategic decisions. It's also impactful because the evidence that we generate informs lobbying and media work, and also helps to shape public understanding of the sector. The research is also robust and reliable and always conducted with integrity, and anything you share with us remains confidential and it's only reported in aggregate, which means that participant names are not disclosed and individual responses are not disclosed either. And of course, it's compliant with the GDPR and the Data Protection Act. And finally, our research program as a whole is built with members and for members because every year through our membership survey, we ask you for your feedback on the research that we produce. And we use your feedback to shape future surveys, to prioritize new research topics, and also to improve how we share the findings with you. And we also consider every data question we receive from members. So for example, if a question could benefit the wider sector, we might add it to future surveys or perhaps flag it for specialist research, or we might raise it in our member meetings and online forum as well. And taking part in our research is completely voluntary, but it really, really matters because most of our data comes from member surveys. So your participation is what makes our reports capture the realities that you face and the full value that your shops generate. And also, as mentioned, our research underpins our lobbying and media work. So it's regularly used by my colleagues to respond to government consultations, brief policymakers, support media coverage, and also challenge any misleading narratives about the sector that might arise. So when the CRA speaks on behalf of the sector, it does so backed by evidence from our members. And that credibility matters, and it's built through the research program. So that's why the more members involved, of course, the stronger and more valuable the research becomes. And this is captured really well in the blog Knowledge is Power from Vicky from the Charity Retail Consultancy, which I've also linked in this presentation for you to check. And if you would like to sign up to participate in our surveys, you can sign up using the link on this slide. And you can find all about our research by visiting the Charity Retail Insights Hub, where you can download the research program, access open surveys, get all the latest reports, and also find my contact details in case you have any questions. We also would like to highlight the Find a Shop database on the CRA website. It's a public search tool only for CRA member shops, so it's also a key member benefit. And it helps people to find your shops to shop, to donate, volunteer, or even to engage with your charity services. So it's really important to ensure that your shop's details are up to date. And you can very easily manage your listings using the step-by-step guide on our website. And if you have any questions, you can contact my colleague Kelly, who looks after this for us. And just to close, mention that obviously looking ahead, our research, it's going to continue to evolve, shaped by your feedback, by the sector challenges, by policy and regulatory changes, and also new opportunities to demonstrate the value of charity retail. But most importantly, we need your participation, because every survey response helps us to understand the sector better and makes our work for the sector more valuable as well. So please don't forget to take part in our research. Thank you so much for your time, and let me know if you have any questions.
Fabulous. Thank you, Alaya. Yes, research is rated normally within the top 1 or 2 in our annual membership survey. When we ask our members what they really value about CRA and some of our services that they rate the highest, research is number 1 or number 2 almost consistently every year, and it's coming up to my 11th year working at CRA. So that just shows the quality of the research that Alaya is able to produce and the value that it has to members. But as Alaya says, we don't just want you to read it and value it, we want you to take part in it, because that makes it more robust and gives us more insight into this amazing sector that we all work in. So does anybody have any questions for Alaya, or just other questions in general? I've already managed to get myself 2 meetings about volunteering, so that's great. Always love talking to members about volunteering. But was there anything specific that anybody wanted to find out, either about research or about anything else? I'll start with a question while other people ponder. Alaya, we talk about the fact that we want more members to take part and we want our research to be robust. Can you say anything about, how we decide when we think we've got enough? Like, I know 100% is the ideal number, but how many people do we need for it to be kind of representative and robust, and kind of so that then we can start extrapolating really relevant information from that research?
So the more the better, but obviously I try to look at different retail chain sizes. So I look at charities that have up to, let's say, 10 shops, and that we call it very small charities. Then we have small charities, medium charities, large charities, and very large charities. So I look at each category and I make sure that we have enough representation to be able to then extrapolate the data and ensure it's robust. So usually from the largest charities, we want everybody to take part, because in the top categories, there are like maybe 6 or 7 in each category. Then we have loads of small and very small charities. And for those, I always try to encourage the more the better, but usually if I could target at least half of the shops, that would be great. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, fantastic.
It also helps to then be able to report by location, because loads of the smaller charities are local. So then if we want to get salaries by location or staff by location, things like that, or selling prices by location, I need those smaller chains to also contribute, because the national ones can give us a general picture, and they are really helpful in that sense. Then they always provide the data for all their shops. So for me to be able to have a breakdown by location, I do need the smaller chains as well to be involved.
Fantastic. And I know it's probably a lot of small and medium-sized chains that are joining these webinars. So that's the call out to you, that, shopping conditions in Lincolnshire versus Devon, for example, will be very different, or very rural or very urban areas. And the more data that we have, the more that we are able to talk about these types of things. Okay, Annette has said that she's looked at our reports, she finds them really useful, already shared them with our trustees. Yeah, I mean, I think that's one of the benefits, is that you can then compare what's your average transaction value, how much you're making a week, are you a hospice, what size chain. You can really start to then measure yourself against the rest of the sector. Karen, your hand has gone up. You're on mute, I'm afraid.
Sorry, clicked the wrong thing there for a second. Yes, it was just a quick question. As a CRA member, if we at Choice Textile were looking to identify some sort of market trend, is that a piece of research that we could do in partnership with the CRA?
I want to say yes to everything because, why would we say no to opportunities? I think that sounds like a great conversation to have with Susan and Anna, and something that I'm sure would be interested in talking about more. I know Susan's on the call and maybe she'll just ping you directly and then you can set something up. But yeah, we always want to do as much as we can. And as Elia says, we already do things in partnership with other people. At the moment, it's just Elia in our very small but perfectly formed research team of one. We have the best, but obviously that does bring limitations on what we are able to deliver on an annual basis. But we always want to explore options. So thank you for raising that. We definitely will be coming to you and picking your brains. Anybody else got any questions or comments? Nothing that I can see. Okay, well, if you do think about anything, please do get in touch with us. Our email addresses are really straightforward. It's our first name and then @charityretail.org.uk. So if you wanted to email Elia directly, you would type Elia, OLAIA, @charityretail.org.uk, Alex, ALEX, @charity, etc., etc. A copy of all of the slides that we have presented today will be going out. We'll also try to include in the body of the email some of the links of the things that we've been talking about. So Elia has mentioned a few blogs and things that you might want to go and have a look at and read. Also, I'll ask them to link to a copy of our strategic plan for anybody that hasn't read it, because we referenced it at the beginning. And Alex has very timely posted his email address in. And if there's a question that pops up at 4 p.m. this afternoon or 4 p.m. on Friday that you're thinking, I was in that webinar and I really should have asked that question, then please just message us. We would love to hear from you. We really love chatting to our members. We're always happy to find time to meet and talk with you. So I'll try and give you back a minute of your time. Thank you, everybody. And I hope you enjoy the rest of your Tuesday.